Look, I think we'll kick off. Greetings, everyone, wherever this call may find you in both our virtual and our real worlds. And thank you so much for joining us on this call. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Martin Moodie, the founder and chairman of the Moodie Davitt report. And it's a real pleasure to talk to you today about what we think are really exciting plans for our virtual travel retail expo, due to be held from 11 to 15 October. Now, it's our second virtual expo, of course, after our pioneering event in October 2020 during what was the heart of the COVID-19 crisis. And, you know, that event brought great success. It brought 124 exhibitors. It brought a fantastic Knowledge Hub program and some really wonderful engagement lounge sessions. Not least, it brought also a major CSR commitment, and I'll touch on that again later. In last year's case, to cleft sustainability and homelessness related charities, and we're very proud of what we and our partners achieved in that regard last year. But the event also brought many learnings, and it's those learnings and the improvements generated off them that we're going to be talking to you about today. I'm joined on the call by my good friend and business partner at Moodie Davitt, and that's Dermot Davitt, who's the publisher and co-shareholder. I'm joined by Chief Technology Officer Matt Willey and publisher Irene Revilla, and you'll be hearing from them as appropriate during the meeting. But also with much pleasure, I introduce you to our really great partners in the virtual expo, Filter Tsinghua, which has offices in Singapore, Hong Kong, Paris, and London. And Filter Tsinghua are a best-in-class 55-person strong agency, crucially specialized in design, production, marketing, PR and communications also, and since last year, of course, creating virtual expos. So they're our stand curation partner. They work with every exhibitor partner from the time they sign up, from go to woe, to post-completion of the event. Now, just to wrap up some introductory comments from me, over the past year, I think we've run 3 virtual expos now, both in and outside travel retail, and a host of very well-received webinars. I like to think that we've proven ourselves repeatedly over the past year, that our track record, both as a publishing house and an event organizer, is one of being innovators. We've got a big and experienced team, particularly bringing the Filter Tsinghua great bunch of colleagues into this partnership. And we've got, I think, the priceless advantage of having very strong media to ensure maximum support and visibility for our exhibitor partners. We think we've taken the platform to a new level. And we've done that, and we've invested in taking it to a new level because we think virtual is here to stay, due to its reach and its cost effectiveness, but as a complement and not a replacement to physical events. And I think that's a really important point. More of that perhaps during this session. So with no further ado, I'm going to ask Alex Cook, the managing partner at Filter Tsinghua, to take us through what the Virtual Travel Retail Expo 2021 style looks like and some of the key enhancements to the platform. Alex, the virtual floor is yours.
Martin, thank you very much, and hello to everybody wherever you are in the world. Myself and my colleague on this call, Anna Chen, who is our Digital Innovations Manager, are currently and have been for the last 2 years on the small island of Singapore. But news coming out recently is starting to suggest that we might be able to start to go spread ourselves a little bit further than this island. However, it's my great pleasure to be able to share with you the platform that we have been working on over the last, well, pretty much since the end of the last virtual event, and really start to demonstrate and show to you the potential and the upgraded components of how we have taken the learnings that Martin was talking about and applied that to something that we think will really take virtual events within the travel retail industry to a whole new level. So if you bear with me, I'm just going to share screen. And I'm hoping that you're seeing that all now. Martin, can you confirm?
I can confirm. Everything looks very good, very striking. So away you go, Alex.
Great. So we have around about 90 days or so from now until the start of the Virtual Travel Retail Expo 2021. And on the 11th of October, the world is invited and the industry is invited, wherever they're based, from Auckland to Alaska, to log in and connect and join in this virtual community that we're bringing together all at one time during the live week from the 11th of October to the 15th of October. That, of course, is followed by an encore period where the platform will be open and have full access for everybody to log back in and to still have access to the content and the on-demand elements for a further 6 weeks. And this is what those people logging in will see. This is our new virtual world. Taking inspiration from the likes of a World Expo, or maybe even for those more young at heart, a Disneyland, we've wanted to create this whole universe, moving away from just being within a single building into a whole environment and a whole world that you can interact with, engage with, and generate a lot of value from participating in. So each of the different buildings within this universe is a different part of the experience, and it means that from this site, with one click, you enter into that particular area. Now, some of the names, and for those of you that attended last year, some of the names of the buildings will be very familiar and quite obvious. We have a repeat of the Knowledge Hub, which is the conference component to that, the webinar element, with both a combination of live sessions, and some of those being pre-recorded, but this year an increased focus on that live component, so that we're bringing the audience to live components that they can enjoy, benefit from, and interact with through our specially curated chat function that has got a significant upgrade on last year. And I think it's worth emphasizing that what you're seeing here right now, it's work in progress, but this is part of a wider development program that our company has been working on, and together with, in particular, Matt from the Moodie Davitt report, to build our own virtual event platform from the ground up, not working with anything that is off the shelf or has restrictions or limitations, which means that we can build it specially suited to the needs of the travel retail industry. So I'm going to take you on a bit of a tour around that space now, and I'll start with probably the highest activity area within the platform, and that's the exhibition pavilion. So with one click, we move into that space and we come into the exhibition pavilion lobby. And here you can see in the signage in front the major halls that we've dedicated to the exhibitors. Each of the major categories within travel retail is covered, and that means that exhibitors are alongside their peers, and in some cases their competitors, but we also think that that brings convenience from a buyer perspective or from a visitor perspective, where they really know how to seek out and find a company from a particular sector of the channel. So I'll take you inside the wines and spirits and beer hall. So here we have the exhibition hall, clear visibility of every single exhibitor, and we have a tiered approach. And this is reflected in the 3 tiers of exhibitor status that we have. Along the bottom tier, we have silver, which are the smaller stands. The middle tier is gold status. And then along the top tier, we have the platinum private suites. With one click, I then move to the stand front on view, where I click on that brand. So what we're showing you here is just a mocked up, a generic stand, but the same principle as last year applies, where the brand or the exhibitor will receive complimentary design services from my company to help them curate a customized stand to really reflect the brand DNA and identity. or for those companies wanting to invest further, there are the options to create more bespoke stand designs, including stepping into the space of virtual reality, virtual tours, and augmented reality. So here we are in a stand front-on view. A few things to touch on and highlight here. The first one is the button at the bottom, which I think is probably the most important: chat with a representative. Exhibitors will have a number of executives designated as representatives for their stand. And that's who a visitor, be they a buyer, a retailer, an airport authority, a service provider, can click on that button and instantly recognize who the main points of contact are for that stand, and then reach out to them via the chat function. Now we've completely renovated the chat function for this expo with full chat history, recordings, written chat messenger, which can then be converted into a video call. And that's not just one-to-one video call, that can be multiple person video calls. So effectively, you can have person-to-person communication instantly, but you can also have company to company with multiple people involved from either side of the table. And I think a further upgrade to that is the ability of our the built-in video conferencing to be able to share screen, which means that you can share specific content to that audience, either on the stand itself, so you can take the visitor through a guided tour, or you can load a PowerPoint presentation or PDF that is very specific to that particular company that you're presenting to. When you look at the stand itself, you can see the principles of various touch points. So we have a media wall here, which is part of the gold package, but we have a few other touch points. So these, for example, when I click on them, can load presentations, PDFs, videos. So this example, it can load images, which could then, in this example, provide a QR code, which means you can then you can scan that QR code on your mobile and interact with any digital content cross-device as well. And actually, while we're on the topic of mobile, I think I'll mention another point, which is this new platform is desktop and mobile responsive, meaning that it extends the usage capability of the site to people using their mobile. So you could picture the members of the industry watching a conference session on their way to work on the train or on the bus, sending some messages via the chat or using their mobile phone. Yet we still believe the most powerful way to view the experience is through a desktop, simply because of the larger screen size, which allows you to get the full and far more immersive experience there. However, the mobile option does exist. And then on the left-hand side here, we have the stand content bar, where companies can host documents and files that can be viewed or downloaded by visitors, links to websites, social media links, all these kind of elements. And just as sort of a bit of a demonstration of another way to utilize this, we've actually loaded, and I hope it works, yep. We've loaded an application in here from that's a publicly available application, which is how we can integrate outside content into the platform. So this is a skin diagnostic or virtual beauty studio. So if, as an exhibitor, you're working on other digital projects, or you have other applications or digital games that you might want to build into or integrate into your stand experience, and particularly in a way to demonstrate to your audience, the digital advancements and investments that you're making as a company, we can integrate those into the platform, and so that therefore you can showcase it in one consistent space. And you'll notice that there is a virtual me standing within this stand, and actually this is part of the humanization of the experience, which is another step forward that we have that we've built into this. And I'll actually click on me, and you can hear from little me.
Our platform has the capability for creative video integration to help humanize and elevate the experience. It's an exhibitor's chance to give a more meaningful welcome, to deliver succinct messages, and to act as a preview for all the value-adding content contained in the stand experience. But why would we do this? Well, because it's more engaging, more emotional, more personal, and ultimately more real, as we bridge the gap between physical and virtual events. Back to live me.
So what I wanted to do by sort of showing you that little demo is kind of that ability to, like I said, humanize a digital experience, but also shows the creativity or the capability of the platform. When a brand can, and an exhibitor can put their mind to what they want to do in terms of the experience they want to curate, it's the job of my team, the account managers that we assign as a dedicated resource for each exhibitor, to really work with that exhibitor to help create the most engaging experience that embraces what's technically possible within the platform. We don't want this to just effectively be a website. This is about an experience. So I'm going to take a dip out of the gold stand, but the same principle applies to the silver stand, yet there are less touch points within that, and there isn't a video wall. And then I'll take you into the third part. So up the top, we have the Platinum suites. So these are private areas. Now it's the choice of the suite exhibitor as to what level of access they want to allow into their stand, and they will have full control of that. So they can each exhibitor will have access to the back-end dashboard for their specific stand, and they can in real time determine who is allowed in and who is not allowed in. Now, actually, many brands are sort of taking some learnings from last year in terms of traffic into their stand and making that far more accessible this year, because they want to show off the great innovations that they're putting on board rather than restricting it behind closed doors. So interesting insight in terms of the conversations that we've had with many of the returning Platinum Suite exhibitors. However, if I am not allowed into that space, I click on it and there is an error message, or not an error message, a notification that says that I don't have access, and it encourages me to talk to the stand representative to see if I can gain access. But if I take you into a suite where I do have access, this is the overall environment. And again, all of this space and this room is owned by the suite exhibitor. So they can curate and design this space and segment the offer however they wish to, with a number of areas and for branding, such as the logo wall and the media wall, but then smaller individual stands within the space, which might be useful for a multi-brand operator. And then if I click onto one of those stands, we come into a front-on view, and it's the same principle as is taking place outside. However, when you operate a silver, or you're taking a Platinum suite, you aren't restricted to this sort of templated approach. And what I'll do is take you into another suite so that you can maybe get some inspiration or some understanding as to the capabilities of the platform. So if I enter into here, we suddenly transport ourselves into a fairly popular retail location within travel retail. I'm not sure whether many of you'd recognize it, but because I've taken us into a 360-degree environment, if I move it around and start to show you the roof, you might recognize that I've taken you into the CDF Mall at Haitang Bay. So here we have the ability through 360 environments to create these experiences in alternative worlds. And these are alternative worlds that the brand can choose what they want to showcase, where they want to take you, and what to communicate. And I'll take you on a bit of a journey there to show you some inspiration. So if I move into the next area, we can really start to promote a sense of place. This happens to be in the famous buildings in Milan. But this might be at a whiskey distillery, inside a fashion boutique, anywhere that has a sense of provenance or sense of place that is important in terms of communicating the brand DNA. And it just so happens that these days we can actually control the weather as well. So through the powers of digital and Anna's work, we've been able to make it snow in Milan too. Let's hope that it's snowing and very cold in Milan on Sunday nights in the finals of the Euros, and that England win. Again, another example inside an interior environment. And I'll take you to one last one, which is a 360-degree video of a very pleasant looking tropical island. Okay. So there you have it. There's those sorts of capabilities really bringing the experience to life as a base platform for you to be able to stage the communication to your key audiences that you want to reach. Now, in terms of the messages, the content, that's obviously the day-to-day job of the exhibitor to be preparing that, but it's our job as Filter Chingwa to work with you to present that in as creative and technologically enabled way as possible. Oops, bear with me, sorry. Okay. So I think that gives kind of a detailed look at the exhibition component to it. Some similarities with last year, but definitely enhancements with it. By the way, if there are any questions, I'm not sure if we had any yet, but please do put them into the chat on this call, and we'll do our best at the end to answer those. But I thought it would be a good time now to sort of take you into some of the other spaces, and particularly the new areas that we've brought to the table this year. Up in the top right, we see a really interesting new space. This is the retailer Emporium. A number of the leading the leading retailers within travel retail will be exhibiting themselves within this virtual event. The likes of Dubai Duty Free, Qatar Duty Free, Lotte Duty Free are already names that we can confirm will be exhibiting within the space. And so they become a destination themselves. It becomes a two-way sort of journey between the exhibition hub and this space, where brands and airport authorities can go and meet with retailers, as well as the retailers going to meet with others in other areas. And then connected to that, we have the Hainan Discovery. This is a space that is dedicated to such an important market in travel retail right now, the market, where leading players within that market will be exhibiting, including service providers and companies that are associated and supporting businesses to operate within the Hainan market. So again, a very interesting destination to understand more about the ever expanding and dynamic retail space there and the retailers involved, as well as the service providers that can help companies to truly grasp the opportunity within Hainan. And at the back, we have the cruise jetty. We have a couple of cruise operators already committed to participating in the show. Harding Brothers, or Harding Retail, sorry, and Starboard are already confirmed, with more to follow as well. So a dedicated space where visitors will be able to connect with and understand more about the cruise channel in particular. And then I'll pick up on the awards stage. So this year, new to 2021, there are 3 specific awards ceremonies that are being brought into this virtual exhibition, into the live week. One is a very well-established awards program run by Martin Dermott and the team, which is the Moody's Digital Awards. Been running for quite a few years now. That process and that nomination process and judging process has started, and the nominations and the winners will be announced in a ceremony during the live week in October. And then Martin, if you want to pick up a little bit on the other awards within the show.
Yeah, I think a very important initiative this year is what we've dubbed the Travel Retail Superstars Awards, and that's all about the thousands of frontline and not frontline, behind the scenes heroes and heroines in our industry. And gosh, there have been many who have helped keep our industry going through this wretched and sustained epidemic, and really don't have the spotlight shone on them so many times. So we think now is the time. We all know the critical role that staff play in making or breaking a sale, making or breaking a company. And the Travel Retail Superstars is all about recognizing those people, awarding those people, championing those people. We've had a fantastic reaction from companies, from retailers all around the globe, airports to that. We've got a great advisory committee. We've got Heidi Van Roon, who's on this call, the president and founder of the Spark Group of companies in Vancouver, which is a specialist in recruitment and staffing services for luxury airport retailers and brands. Marcus Griffin, who many of you will know from his time with Dufry as Senior Vice President, Director, Human Resources, Americas and Caribbean there. And they're very passionate people and very involved in this project with us. So we think that's going to be particularly big and very, very nice to shine that spotlight on people who maybe don't have it shone on them enough. So that's a big part of what we're doing, Alex.
Great. And then probably the other place to really touch on too is the Knowledge Hub, with the conference element and especially curated program throughout the live week as well. Yeah,
so look, this is probably where Dermot and I come in. This is our speciality area. We've been both moderating and leading conferences for more years than we probably like to admit. We've themed it very simply this year around Lead, Inspire, Transform. What's that mean? Well, of course, we'll be talking to leaders in our industry, people who are showing true leadership. So we'll be featuring some major names from the airport trinity and beyond. Inspire. We don't want this to be same old, and nor do we want it to be an insular event. Our sector, I think, needs challenging constantly. It needs external voices, but it also needs to stand for something. We're going to bring people into the Inspire segment of the Knowledge Hub that have done a lot to change our world, to better our world, to improve it. And you're going to be hearing some of those names in coming weeks. So that might be people that are inspiring us in protecting, preserving, sustaining the planet. It may be people that have stood up for equality of gender, of race, or religion, and others. And I think that is really important because travel retail, as I've said many times, is a crossroads of humanity. It's a almost definitive global history. It's multi-racial, it's multicultural, it's multi-geographical, and we must reflect that in an inspirational conference, not just an educational one. Transform is all about anticipating where this industry is headed next. It's been challenged as it's never been challenged before in its existence since 1947. And there are people who are shaping that transformation, who are in fact ahead of the curve on it. And they'll be the people that we'll be speaking to in the Transform section. So it's going to look a little different from last year. We're thinning out the program, not in terms of quality, but in terms of number of sessions. The focus is on substance, not just names on a list. And I think it's going to be an exciting program. As Alex said, a mix of formats. There'll be some pre-recorded, some live, some are a mix of both, but a very exciting program indeed. So we'll look forward to that. We're making announcements on that every week. And of course, we'll be involving the audience in that via live chat. I think that probably sums up that side of it, Alex. I think probably also worth mentioning is that we are reprising the QDF factor. That's really exciting. Qatar Duty Free are our diamond sponsor once more. And besides being a major exhibitor where they will be showcasing the magnificent and exciting expansion at Hamad International Airport, they will be reprising the QDF factor. And in brief, that is a competition that recognizes innovation in the sector. We'll be calling for nominations very soon. Some grand prizes, and they are indeed grand, of a 6-month complimentary listing with Qatar Duty Free in the expansion. So that'll be from 2022. The market will be in a lot better place, and the airport will be a much bigger place. And that's when that listing, or perhaps those listings, will take effect. We'll also be contributing in 2 ways. One, the winner will receive a $50,000 advertising campaign, complimentary, of course, but valued at $50,000 across our platforms. But everybody who enters the QDF factor this year will also be profiled by the Moodie Davitt report extensively. The reason we've done that is we had so many entries last year, and obviously not everybody could make the final cut of 10, but we saw so much innovation, and we want that recognized because we think it's critical that the industry continues to champion newness and innovation, and perhaps companies that haven't been in the sector before. So we're trying to do all that with the QDF factor, and that's going to be very exciting. Watch this space. Back to you.
Thank you, Martin. And one final space to talk about or take you into is the experience arena. So this is where, as part of the exhibitor packages, exhibitors of a gold level and above receive a complimentary 30-minute slot within this space, where effectively they own their own programming and they control their own content. So there's that opportunity to do a live or pre-recorded experience or presentation of the choice of that company. That can involve involve a product reveal, a masterclass, a thought leadership piece. Some companies considering bringing an external speaker in to give a different perspective on a particular topic. That program and that 30-minute segment is owned and completely up to the choice of the company participating. And so that schedule is something else that forms part of the what's on, and you can see the bar along the top, which has the navigation bar, has a number of key sort of buttons there. I think my chat is fairly obvious. That launches the chat button. My event agenda, that's the ability to review everything that's going on within the live week at the different times, and the ability to bookmark and save the particular components to an agenda, where you then receive an email to state that session is going live a couple of minutes before the live element starts. So it acts as sort of a reminder, and it helps the users to really manage and make the most of their time during the live week, where they're still able to balance that online sort of life and the offline life as life still continues when you're participating within a virtual show. What's on, again, that's the whole agenda. And then there's an exhibitor directory and a delegate center where you can view every single member visitor who is registered and online at the show at that moment in time, and reach out to them for instant networking. There's no delay in terms of connecting visitors who are online to each other. Press center, I think, is fairly self-explanatory, and ditto the help center as well, where that's a resource there for visitors who might have questions or technical issues. We'll have a 24/7 resource there to help within the help center for anybody that might have any issues or questions during the live show too. And I think, broadly speaking, that's the end of the tour. I hope that it's given a lot of inspiration, a lot of confidence in what's being built here. And I suppose the final word from me is that really we look forward to working with all the participants in the show, and look forward to really putting on something that continues to be another digital landmark for the global travel retail industry. Back to you, Martin.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, I think a digital landmark is right, and we really want our partners to showcase their extremely impressive digital capabilities. It's not just about us, it's about the partners. And any partner who works with us also, they don't work in isolation. It's not a matter of us signing up an exhibitor and saying, see you at the show. We'll be working with you via our media intensively in the run up to the event. And Alex and his team will be working with every partner intensively in making sure that that presence, that visibility is maximized. I think that just a couple points in closing I'd make, Alex. I think I would like to emphasize the reach of this event. The reach geographically, of course, because anybody, any place, from down in my home country of New Zealand to here in London, where I am now, to anywhere on the west coast of the States, Hainan in China, can visit this show. They're not shackled by time constraints or cost constraints. That's important. But the other aspect of reach is within companies. So it's not just the CEO or the buyer who can attend or did attend last year. We had fantastic penetration through companies, from the CEO to the head of merchandising, the head of buying departments, but to store managers around the world, to airport commercial executives, to airport food and beverage executives. And I should note, by the way, that we are introducing a food and beverage component this year. That's really important to our airport audience. Many airport commercial directors, of course, handle food and beverage. They handle retail and all aspects of consumer services and commercial operations. So we're really pretty excited about what we're going to do there on food and beverage. But the reach is fundamentally important. I think also, Alex, I'd like to touch on the analytics. You know, we know that times are desperately tough still in our industry. They're hard for us, they're hard for everybody. And if you're going to make an investment in a platform such as this, especially if you're a newcomer and haven't seen it work before, you want to know about your return on investment. And Alex, I'd just like you maybe to touch on the question, the issue of analytics.
Yep. So baked into the platform that we've developed is an exhibitor dashboard, where each exhibitor will have a unique login to for their representative to basically track and get the real-time data on who has visited their stand and the key areas and hotspots within their stand of what's being clicked on. So that's not something that comes as a delayed report or after the show is finished. It's something that you can see live, and can also allow for follow-up and reconnection with people who you might have missed that had visited your stand. So that's another enhancement for this year.
All right, Alex, and tell us about the security of the platform. I think, in the digital age, that matters hugely. What steps have you made there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I might even call upon Matt a little bit on that front as well from the Moodie Davitt team to add in. But essentially, the full, I would say, financial services level cybersecurity into this platform, because the developers that we're working alongside do develop digital platforms for that level of organization with that level of cyber sensitivity. So therefore, everything that we are creating here goes through a rigorous penetration test, and essentially ticks all the major boxes that a company's IT department would require from a rigor of cybersecurity, where sensitive information is being hosted from the very start, from the registration component in terms of two-factor authentication, all the way through the firewalling and ring fencing of the environment, and the testing and external validation and accreditation of that.
Very good. And Alex, can I ask one more question? Obviously, we got a very good response from our partners in China last year. Yep. China Duty Free Group were one of our diamond partners, as you know, and we will be making some important announcements in coming days about the Chinese participation. But tell us about the platform and how that has been tailored and improved for a Chinese audience, please.
Yeah, I think in two main ways. Well, three main ways, let's say. Firstly, we know how mobile and enabled or driven the Chinese digital market is. So that switch to be a mobile responsive platform is very important in terms of engagement of Chinese audience and Chinese business executives. The other part of it is related to the hosting and the specific requirements that are needed for smooth running of these kind of platforms in China, and therefore the hosting setup and configuration that we have to do on a worldwide basis, because we have to think that there could be in excess of 5,000 people dialing into this or logging into this virtual platform from every country in the world, but significant numbers of those will be from within China as well, and therefore we have to have an appropriate geographic hosting of the servers of which this platform is hosted on, one of which is within Greater China. So bringing the hosting closer to the Chinese market will increase the speed, the speed and the service to that market as well. And then the third thing that would mention is that actually this platform will be dual language. So the ability to toggle in between English and Chinese from a navigation perspective.
Very good. All right. Look, anybody who has any questions or comments, feel free to add them there on the platform, and we'll take them. But if not, you certainly can contact any of the team at Filter Tsinghua or Moodie Davitt, and we'll give you all the information you need. So Alex, question here from Emma: when is registration open to apply for stand space? Well, you know the answer to that one.
Straight after this call.
Well, Emma, we'll call you straight after the call. So no, people are already signed up. In fact, we've got a very encouraging return of exhibitors from last year. Lots of big names, of course. You know, the leaders in their sectors, such as Diageo, Pernod Ricard. We've got Nestle. We've got Beam Suntory, White Mackay, Philip Morris, Lindt Ferrero, Shiseido. I may have mentioned Filorga. Lots and lots of companies, but not just the giants. Lots of independents. Some newcomers to the travel retail channel. What a way to showcase yourself and your brands to the world, to retailers all over the world. So registration is well and truly cooking, Emma, and we hope it'll cook up some more in the weeks to come. Any other questions? Alex, then I'll just come back to you for the final one. I think it's really important for perhaps a smaller brand or even a bigger brand that's seen some resource cut over recent times because of COVID. The account management that Filter Tsinghua offers to me as a partner from the time I sign up. Just talk me through that hand-holding process, please.
Sure. Within the exhibitor package, there is the full account management support of my team, as I said earlier, with a dedicated member of staff to work with and support that that exhibitor from the moment you sign up. So we will conduct a very thorough kickoff call to really explain all the technical components to that, and really take that exhibitor on a journey of 4 key phases. The first one is the planning, really working out what is it that you want to achieve, what's your key audience, what do you want to get out of this participation, and helping to develop a plan of how to best execute and deliver on that. The second phase is the stand design. So built into the exhibition fee, there is a templated design service from my company to help you personalize a stand environment to make it really be responsive to the DNA or reflective of the DNA of your company. So that's in terms of the visual look and feel of that stand, the graphics, the videos, the products that you have on display. So that's the design of the stand. The third phase is the content. So those are the digital touch points that when a user clicks on the stand or goes into the stand content bar, the type of content that you can show and you want to provide to the audience, presentations, images, videos, this sort of thing. And we do that work for you in terms of uploading it and getting it all live on a preview site that you will have private access to, so that you can look at it and practice with it and refine it well in advance of the show itself, so that during the live show, when it goes live, you're ready, and the whole team in your organization knows what to expect and how to best service that stand. And then the final stage is exactly that. It's testing. So it's making sure that everything works, making sure your company is very familiar with it, and any final tweaks in the few weeks in the build up to the show, so that come the 11th of October, everything's good to go.
All right, sounds really good. Well, look, I think there are no questions there at the moment. Please, everybody, feel free to get in touch with either the Filter Tsinghua team or the Moodie Davitt team. You certainly know where to find us. I want to thank everybody for taking the time out to hear us today. I hope you're as excited as we are. We're not standing still. We're taking this to a new height. As Alex said, we have created this from the ground up. We've taken the best of last year, but we've also addressed the challenges of last year. So we've invested heavily in this, and that's a big decision at a time like this. We're a small company and we're challenged like everybody else, and so is Alex's company, but we believe in this. We believe that virtual events as a complement to physical events are going to remain very important long into the future, largely because of the dynamic of reach that I talked about, as well as cost effectiveness. So that's it. We hope to see you all. We will see you all, I know, in one capacity or another in October. I'm off now to get a COVID test because I'm taking an international flight, whoopee, on Saturday. I'm flying to Doha, where I'm going to see the real Hamad International Airport and not the virtual one, although it will be largely a virtual impression of what's to come. But I'm excited about that, and transiting there, doing a tour with Davitt Musla of the new facilities there, fantastic new stores going in. And then I'm flying on to the Republic of Korea, spending some time with Lotte and Sheila and Shinsegae, and also heading down to Busan with my wife. So it's good to be on the move, good to be taking an international flight. None of us have had too many of those over the last year or so, and I'm very excited about that. But anyway, you'll find us online 18, 19 hours a day. You know where to find us. Thanks for being with us today. All take special care wherever you are. This wretched disease is still at us. And here in the UK, the Delta variant is rising very fast, and in many, many countries. So please continue to be careful, take care of yourself, and take care of others. Thanks for being with us.